All right, folks, we'll go ahead and get started. Looks like we have about 6 of you here with us so far. Um, if you do need to leave early or something, it'd be perfectly okay. I'm recording this tomorrow morning, maybe late tonight. I'll have this recording put up in Moodle. So to make sure I'm not talking to myself here, if you would, please let me know in the chat box if you are able to hear me, please. All right, Madeline can, Adam, Sharon, Steve, or Shannon, excuse me, Steve. Okay, good. All right, so we'll get started. Thank you, Brooke. We'll go and get started. Welcome to EDA 604, Organization and Legal Aspects of the School Principal. And Allison, thank you as well. My name is Dr. Dustin Broombaugh. Um, Obviously, this course is not about me, but I did want to give you just a very, very brief background about myself. Once again, Dr. Dustin Broombaugh. My day job is I'm the Director of Human Resources for Madison County Schools in Richmond, Kentucky. Um, I've been a former middle school math teacher, former elementary school principal, and then I've been working in human resources. This is starting my 5th year. This course is obviously an online course. We will meet minimally. If you need to more, if people start to request that, then obviously we can accommodate. We'll meet a couple times, but for the most part, this course will be completed by completing the various assignments for each week in Moodle. So you should be able to see um, my screen. Yeah, it shows that you can. My screen shown in Moodle here. Here in a moment, I'm going to go over the syllabus. If you have not already, please make sure that you post to the forum for the first day of class. Um, One, that verifies your attendance for the course. Georgetown requires that on the first actual day of the course that you take some action in there. So that's the main purpose for that is Georgetown requires it. But two, I try not to bug people through email with different things, but from a professor's or in my case adjunct professor's case, if one of you do not take any sort of action in Moodle uh, each week, I do get notified. So one of those statements there is why I ask you to do that. Is why I want you to one check your email a couple of times a week, your Georgetown one. Um, if you keep that on your cell phone, that would be helpful. I promise I'm not going to bug you. I do ask for another type of email, whether your personal one or your work one. I usually start off with the Georgetown one. If I don't get a hold of you, a lot of times I'll go look that one up and try your work one as well. That just ends up. Well, sometimes I might get an email that'll say, hey, look, Steve hasn't been in Moodle for 8 days. Um, I nicely try to get a hold of you to let you know that, but at some point, if you don't take action, they administratively drop you. So you need to be keeping up with the course, but two, you need to be getting into Moodle, taking some action at least once a week at minimum, every 7 days, because past that, the administration at Georgetown gets a little nervous, and I have seen people get administratively dropped, and I don't want that for you. So that's why I do that. Let's see here. So secondary email address, check your email, and then make sure you're logging in here. Okay, so let's go over the syllabus. All right, so here's my contact information. I'm more of an email type person. That's my cell phone number there. I prefer you not use it unless you are in desperate need of getting a hold of me. But I keep my personal work email and my Georgetown email on my phone. I check it a few times a day. I will be shocked unless it's maybe a Saturday or something or a Sunday. Even then, I try to check it that you don't hear back with me that very same day. During the workday, I'm probably going to respond to you in the next couple hours. So I don't have this says office location, Anderson Hall there. I'm not actually on campus. Like I said, I'm in Richmond. Um, but there's my Georgetown email. Please, no questions, a dumb question. You need some follow up, whatever, you just definitely let me know. A lot of stuff is the normal um, standard stuff for the for a syllabus. There is no required textbook. I'm sure you guys are happy about that, but there are a few different items that you will need to make sure that you have access to online. Um, you may already have one. If not, maybe your principal or assistant principal in your district has them. But Kentucky puts out the Kentucky Law Book every other year, I believe, on the even years, and on the odd years they put a little insert for the changes for that. If you wanted to buy one, fine. It is online. PDF document. Don't print it. It's probably, I'm estimating 1,000 pages, but you can access it for free online. But you will need access to that, as I note there. The 2016 edition, obviously. I'm not sure when it comes out. I think during the summer though, but the 2018 edition is not out at the moment. KDE's website, and then the Kentucky LRC. That is where uh, basically when the legislature's back in session, should be any time here. You'll follow some of that stuff. There will be some live text submissions. Actually, the only live text submission will be, we'll go on the next one here, the required field experience hours. In live text, that'll be the only thing that you guys will have to do. 10 hours of field experience. I'll show you where that form is. I'm sure it's probably just a little bit different in each class, but this class, Georgetown, requires 10 hours. Those 10 hours should not be the following. It should not be, I went to our school's basketball game and stuff like that. It should be things like, help assisting administration with something, sitting in on observation with them, um, job shadowing, interviewing, attending a site-based meeting, board meeting, things like that. But 10 hours, this is a 15-week course, so 10 hours sometimes. And once again, I'll show you where that form is. When you're done with that at the end of the course, you'll upload that in live text. And I misspoke when I said the only thing in live text. This is the first time I think Georgetown's done it this semester, but I don't think you guys have to do anything. But if you were to look in live text right now, you'll see a thing in there for dispositions. I think where basically I will need to go in and just make sure and rate your dispositions, the qualities that you are exemplifying in the course. If I'm seeing a lot of issues on you following up, and different characteristics like that, I would document those, and you might have to meet with your Georgetown contact, but or your advisor. But that's in there now. I don't believe you have to do anything though. I think that's just for me to do. But once again, the 10 field experience hours is the requirement that you'll put on the form that I'll show you here in a moment, and you will upload into live text. Yeah, they're the professional dispositions as I talked about on item number 9 there. Scroll down. Here's all the different objectives. Most of this is, for the most part, just like it sounds, is a law class. There is a little bit of some other things that aren't exactly law. There's a couple characteristics. There's one week we'll talk a little bit about mission and vision, some different stuff like that. But they're all the different objectives that the course was designed around. And then probably the things that you're probably most concerned about. Kind of an outline here. 15-week course. The different topics. Kentucky School Framework, state agencies. I talked about mission and vision. Another one that's not, like I said, not quite law is culture, climate, and ethics. Talk a little bit about school allocations. That about your district, but we start looking at that as early as the early March on some of that stuff. And I say allocations, how many teachers is your school allocated? So we'll talk a little bit about that. Personnel law, site-based decision-making law. You are going to interview a principal, constitutional and civil rights, freedom of speech, religion and schools, social media, special education. So lots of legal stuff, obviously, are some of the different topics. So how will you be scored? The grading scale, like you're probably used to at Georgetown, 93 to 100 is an A, 85 to 92 is a B, 75 to 84 is a C, and anything below that, there are no Ds, just to be Fs. So you will do a reflective paper. I think it's either week 3 or 4. There'll be an article. You will read that article and write a reflection for 25 points. The second item, there are 10 discussion boards / assignments. So that's most of the weeks, besides the mission and vision paper and the principal interview that I'm about to discuss here as well. But 10 different times that you'll do something that week. Sometimes it might be, hey, here's a prompt, answer the prompt and respond to some of your peers. Or it might be, here's something you need to go do, a prompt or whatever, type it up in a Word document and upload it. But there are 10 of those. Each of those are worth 10 points each for 100 points total. You will do one principal interview. It can be your current principal, but I would encourage you to interview that star principal that you might not always get access to, that you've heard's real good. Pick he or she's brain a little bit. That's worth 25 points. And then probably a couple weeks before the end of the semester, I will upload the final exam. It'll be a Word document. It'll be open book, open note, so to speak. The nature of the exam will be over obviously a lot of the things that we've done in this course. It will, intentionally require you. I want you to have to look things up and stuff like that, but it'll be worth 50 points. So this class is 200 points total. Once again, reflective paper on mission and vision, 25 points. 10 discussion boards and assignments, 10 points each. All those together are worth 100. Principal interview worth 25, and then the final exam for 200. Before I dive in and take a look at Moodle itself, a few of the kind of how it's structured, some expectations, and some of that stuff. Are there any specific questions about the syllabus? Please feel free to put that in the chat box or to turn on your microphone and ask that verbally. Okay, then we'll go ahead and, like I said, this will be short and sweet. All right, the field experience document that I talked about. Remember, 10 hours required for this course. Document those field experience hours. Those 10 hours need to be uploaded into LiveText. At the top here under the yellow box, one of those field experience document, pretty self-explanatory. Save this to your desktop, print it out. It can be typed or not. Just try to keep up with the date. I guess I probably would rather you fill it out and have whoever you spent that time with to sign off on it. Let's see. A question here from Madeline. I think I saw that all assignments are due on 11th on Sunday unless otherwise specified. Is that correct? Yes. So kind of how I view this, I do apologize. Didn't put my cell phone on vibrate there. So with this course starting on a Monday, I'm trying to view, even though it's like 15 and a half weeks or something like that, I'm really just taking a week as 7 days. It starts on a Monday, so Monday's the first day of the week, and it ends at the end of the day on a Sunday. So my goal will then is to, on Mondays, grade what you did for the prior week. And I'm usually pretty good about keeping up with that on Mondays doing that. So if you see something on week 1, then it's due by that Sunday's kind of the last day of that week. It's due at 11:59 that day. If you're close, I'm not going to dock. If you're a night owl and you do it at 2 a.m., then so be it. But yes. So back to this documentation. So as you do those 10 hours, once again, what I don't want to see is you doing supervising a ball game or lunchroom duty or something like that. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for actual quality experiences with administrators or interviews and things like that. Then with that, upload that into LiveText. Okay, so as Madeline said, um, yeah, you can see partway down on the first week, January 8th through the 14th. All assignments due the Sunday of each week, 11:59, and I tried to put that on each week. So this one, if we called it week one, would be today, January 8th through Sunday, January the 14th, and then you'll move on to the next week. So this week you will have a framework PowerPoint to view, and then you're going to open up that EDA assignment one, framework of school law, answer the questions, prompts in there, and upload it. I want to preface for those of you listening now or those of you listening to the recording that there will be times that you're going to look stuff up and you're going to have a little difficulty. Some of that is intentional. Um, so a little background knowledge. I've taught this course before, and then as the principal program has grown, they've had me teach other principal program classes. While I was doing that, they brought in a gentleman named Wayne Young. He's the director of KASA, Kentucky Association of School Administrators. Basically, even in my day job, when I run into a legal question or I need some feedback, sometimes just to check, sometimes I really like, hey, Wayne, tell me what the law says. I call Wayne up. So fortunately, Georgetown hired him. He put his legal touch, I guess when I say legal, lawyer touch on some of the things, included a few more things, and now he teaches this course some, and so do I. So long story short, I'm kind of bringing the principal's perspective of a former principal. What are some things that I know I needed to know, or that you need to know, or it's on your radar? He put some of his lawyer things on there of this is what all administrators should know. So together collaborate, and this is the course we came up with. Some of the things are going to require you to look things up, and the reason the intentionality behind that is you're not always going to know what the law says. I doubt most of you are lawyers, and I am not a lawyer. A lot of times I have a pretty good idea what the law says, but sometimes I need to look up exactly what it says. So basically, not sometimes knowing what it is helps. Sometimes not knowing, but knowing exactly where to find it also helps. So some of these will require that you're going to look things up. There's going to be assignment here in a couple of weeks where you look up. Part of the assignment is to look up what are some of the existing bill or existing whatever that's being looked at by the legislature currently when they're in session, because you'll see lots of news come out of, I don't know, one of them last year, there was someone in Frankfurt that wanted to require the school calendar not start until after Labor Day and stuff like that. It didn't pass. Obviously, I bet your school started in August just like mine did, but you're going to see some of those. I don't always pass, but might have you pick out one and research it a little bit. But so the biggest thing would be um, look up the Kentucky School Law book. It's on KDE's website. I'm trying to think if I don't think I've posted it on here, but I can at a later date if you have trouble finding it. But Kentucky Department of Education's website, you need to have access to the Kentucky Law Book 2016. Bet if you Google it, you could easily find it. I might just try later tomorrow morning post that under week one on theirs. But so basically, read the article or read the PowerPoint presentation for the week, depending on what it is. Complete the assignment, upload it, and I'll let you know if there are any issues. I'm trying to think of what else here. So, school mission, that's the one. There's an article that you'll read and do a reflection on. And a lot of the other ones are either discussion boards or you read something or look something up and then provide some your thoughts and stuff on it. All right, folks, I don't have much more. What questions do you all have at this point?
Hey, Dustin, this is Laura Wells.
Yes.
Just a thing about the law book. Our principals also have a copy of the annotated, so if it's easier to look that up than to, I know it was hard for me to do that online.
Yes. Yeah, so the law book's a big old, thick one, probably 1,000 pages, and the annotated one that she's referring to is it's almost like a little insert of maybe, I don't know, 50 pages or something. So, and I will tell you, that can be a little daunting to
Yes.
look some of that stuff up. Kind of words of encouragement for everybody. If you put Kentucky school law and whatever you're looking for, most of that stuff will pop up in a Google search. Um, so that would be my advice. But obviously, looking at the law book's helpful. But so different topics for different weeks. Um, we tried to make sure and make this course as straightforward as possible. Try and push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. Was looking up some of the laws. Okay, hey, read this, and what do you decipher that to mean? And then some other things you just need to make sure you memorize. That way you don't break the law. My advice will always be before you make a decision, unless you don't know it's 100% sure, what does your school, make sure you're all Kentucky, going to be Kentucky principal here, but so if you're in Kentucky, obviously other states don't have site-based councils, or if you're in a private school, you won't have a site-based council, but what does your site-based council policy say? What's the Kentucky law book say? If you can't find it then, seek counsel. Foolproof plan there. What does site-based council policy say? What's this Kentucky law book say? If not, seek your counsel, whether that be your board attorney or a Wayne Young that's with KASA or something like that. So if you mention Wayne Young and KSA to and your current principals, I'm confident all of them be like, yeah, I know exactly who he is. And a lot of them probably call him once in a while, unless your board attorney's pretty good with some of that stuff as well. What other questions does everyone have? Because basically we're about done. My intent for today was to just go over the structure of Moodle and the course, to go over the syllabus, have those of you that had questions to ask them. Any other questions before we hop off here? Well, then the last thing that I'll say last couple things I'll say then is again, forum for the first day of class there. If you have not already, please make sure you click on the forum for the first day of class sometime before you go to bed tonight, and answer those 3 statements, or respond to those 3 statements in the forum. That way I can make sure that you're verified in attendance for the class. Next thing would be definitely take a good look at the first week, January 8th through 14. Look at that framework PowerPoint. Look at that assignment number 1, framework for school law, and begin that sooner rather than later. That way, if you have questions, you can shoot me an email, and I can definitely help you out. Otherwise, I'll stay behind if anybody has any other questions. Otherwise, you are free to go. I look forward to working with all of you. Remember, I'm an email or a phone call away. And again, tomorrow morning sometime, this recording should be posted on here under the January 8 through 14 if you need to watch it again. Thank you all. I'll stay behind if I have any questions. Otherwise, look forward to working with each of you, and have a great evening.